Obviously, redshirting's on the table for both of them. No final decisions have been made, but it's tough. It puts you in a tough situation. You play Bryce in a game like this for 3 minutes, it burns a year of eligibility. I wish it was easier. I wish there was, a set number of games you could play a guy like they have in football. I think that would make a lot of sense, for some of these kids, but we don't. So I can only operate with the rules that we currently have, because I want Bryce to have the best college basketball career, the most options in his college basketball career long term, whatever that looks like. And I just feel like, throwing, a kid with a lot of potential that's developing, he or Mobile, a few garbage minutes. It might feel good now, but potentially, down the line, it could be, something.
For months, Tucson was moving different. Like the whole city had this buzzing charge running through the streets, waiting for one moment to finally drop. It felt like everybody, from students to barbershop debates, was locked in on the same question. When is Bryce James actually stepping on the court for the Arizona Wildcats? Fans showed up early. Cameras were peeking through every practice window. Analysts kept tossing out predictions. And through all that noise, there was one person watching every single second with laser focus: LeBron James himself, a man who's been shaping the league for 2 decades straight. But now that the season is in full swing, something nobody saw coming just flipped the whole script.
The point in Arizona didn't take care of business early because Bryce James supposed to play today.
You
owe
sure?
that.
You don't think they're
Nash,
gonna
you know
redshirt?
this.
Yeah.
They're a young team.
Yeah.
So they didn't take care of business in the first half. They were only upset.
Correct.
But your players that are starting and getting the big minutes, Coach, you know this.
Oh, yeah.
You owe those guys at the end of the
flag.
bench to take care of business to get them in the game
So
on
is that
national
the
TV.
motivation after this? Like, we need to take care so that your teammates can get in the game.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. These guys work hard all week long in practice, and they know, hey, there aren't a lot of games on Arizona's schedule. They're going to be up 20 late. This was one of them. But the guys got in. A lot of guys got some time.
They did.
Arizona.
Bryce still hasn't played even 1 minute. No action against Florida, none against Utah Tech, none against Northern Arizona, nothing at all. And now the word floating around the program is that head coach Tommy Lloyd might hit a move so shocking it's got the whole fan base panicking. He might actually redshirt Bryce for the entire season. What started off as regular early season lineup choices has turned into one of the loudest and messiest conversations in college basketball right now. A simple freshman storyline has turned into a full-blown mystery that everyone's trying to decode like it's some top-secret playbook. Bryce, an 18-year-old with one of the most talked-about last names in sports, is stuck on the outside looking in, and every game he spends on the bench makes the situation feel even more dramatic. Right now, he's limited to warm-ups, bench reactions, and commentators whispering on air like they're scared to sound wrong after hyping him up all summer. The Bryce James era at Arizona hasn't even started. Not for a second. And if Tommy Lloyd really locks in that redshirt decision, it won't start at all this year. And the wild part? Bryce didn't show up with the 5-star glow people expected because he wasn't coming in with the Bronny-style spotlight, no McDonald's All-American hype, no G League chatter, none of that. He walked in ready to grind, and now the whole basketball world is watching to see what happens next. Bryce didn't show up as some overhyped superstar, but he definitely came in with pedigree, real potential, and expectations heavy enough to make any freshman feel that pressure instantly. Coming out of Sierra Canyon as a 3-star recruit, he still had solid options lined up. Duquesne wanted him, Ohio State wanted him, but he chose Arizona because he felt like this was the place where he could build his own path and level up his game for the long run. Bryce showed up saying he was fully locked in, ready to grind, ready to carve out his own lane, and the plan sounded clean. They were going to ease him into the system, sharpen his skills, and eventually unleash him like a hidden weapon waiting for the right moment to strike. But now, just 3 games into the season, the whole situation looks way different than anybody expected. Arizona is rolling without him, straight undefeated, playing confident, and the rotation is tight like a well-oiled machine that doesn't need any adjustments right now. And suddenly, the spotlight has shifted to the new freshman phenom, Koa Pete, who just came in and dropped a wild 30-piece in his debut, making people talk like he's about to be the next major name in the Pac-12. The whole vibe of the team is smooth, and Bryce isn't part of that engine at this moment, which is exactly when the conversation flipped. People stopped asking, "When does Bryce check in?" and started whispering a way tougher question. Is he even going to play at all this season? This is where things get messy, because basketball isn't like football when it comes to redshirting. In football, you can play up to 4 games and still keep that year. It's easy. But in college hoops, it's a whole different world. In basketball, the redshirt rule hits you instantly. The moment Bryce steps onto the court, even for 1 minute, even in blowout garbage time, that entire year of eligibility is gone. Once your sneakers touch the hardwood, that season counts. No rewinds, no resets, no takebacks. Coach Tommy Lloyd even laid it out in simple, straight-up terms, making it clear how serious this decision really is. Coach Lloyd laid it out raw, saying, "You play Bryce in a game like this for 3 minutes, it burns a year of eligibility." And that one line told the whole story without him spelling anything out. The real message was simple. Bryce isn't being tossed to the side, he's being protected. The staff doesn't want to burn an entire season just to give him a couple of throwaway minutes. But even when the logic makes sense on paper, it doesn't make the waiting feel any easier when you're the one sitting. And with Arizona stacking win after win, the pressure hits a whole new level that nobody can ignore. Now the big debate is, should Lloyd think long-term and keep the redshirt plan alive, or should he finally unleash Bryce and give the fans what they've been waiting for, even if it costs a full year of eligibility? And let's be honest, anytime a season involves the James family, energy shifts instantly. There's a tension, expectation, and a quiet tension that follows them everywhere. LeBron has always said he wants his sons to build their own stories, and that's real. But reality is reality. When your last name is James, every move gets magnified like it's breaking news. Anything connected to that family becomes a headline. And now Bryce sitting on the bench has turned into the newest storyline everybody wants to analyze, like detectives trying to crack a case. And with Bryce not stepping on the floor at all yet, even the NBA world is watching closely. People still remember how Bronny went from a quiet freshman at USC to becoming an NBA rookie in what felt like no time, riding a wave of development hype straight to the Lakers to play next to his dad. Bryce was expected to follow a similar path, maybe slower, maybe more deliberate, but still moving forward step by step. But right now, his path feels frozen in place, not rising, not falling, just paused. For the first time in his basketball journey, Bryce isn't the young gun about to erupt. He's the young gun being told to slow down on purpose, coached with patience instead of spotlight, and that hits different when your last name carries global attention every single day. Picture being 18 and trying to breathe in a world where your dad is the most analyzed basketball player of this entire era, and you're staring at a season where you might not even get the chance to show what you can really do in a live game setting. Behind the scenes, you know there are quiet conversations happening, real questions floating around, and pressure stacking up in ways nobody wants to admit out loud. And even with all that, Bryce is expected to stay calm, focused, and chill on the surface like none of it touches him. From the outside, sitting Bryce might look like a step backward, maybe even a setback. But in reality, this might be one of the smartest long-term plays Arizona has made in years. Bryce didn't pull up to campus as a finished product. He came in as raw talent with real upside, the kind of kid who showed flashes on the Nike EYBL circuit with 6.9 points and 2.2 boards. Flashes of confidence, flashes of skill, flashes of something that could turn into a real problem for opponents down the line. That's exactly why a redshirt year might be the perfect move for him, giving him a full season to train without losing a year of eligibility, to build his body up, to adjust to college speed, and to get comfortable with the physical grind that comes with playing grown man basketball at the NCAA level. He gets time to handle school, settle socially, figure out the new rhythm of college life, and ease into a world that usually expects young players to blow up instantly. Tommy Lloyd is clearly thinking long game. He's playing chess while everybody else is yelling for checkers. That's why he's not throwing Bryce onto the court for a couple of empty early season minutes just to calm people down. Why waste a whole year of eligibility on tiny cameos that do nothing for Bryce or the program? Lloyd is already thinking about 2026, 2027, and even 2028. Not the third game of the season where the outcome was locked in before halftime. Arizona staying undefeated isn't just a cool storyline. It's the biggest obstacle in Bryce's way right now. The rotation is tight, disciplined, full of vets, and running smooth, and there's no obvious spot to slide him in without shaking up something that's working perfectly. When a rotation is snapping together this clean, coaches don't touch it, not even if a big-name freshman is sitting on the bench waiting for his moment to shine. Even Bryce's fellow freshman, Mabel Maud, is barely getting any minutes and is already being talked about as another possible redshirt candidate. That alone makes the message crystal clear. Coach Lloyd isn't bending for hype, fame, or whatever's trending online. If you don't fit the system today, you wait your turn, plain and simple. In a regular season, none of this would even be a headline, but Bryce James isn't just some random freshman, and pretending he is would sound fake. Behind the scenes, it's almost impossible not to think about what Bryce might be dealing with emotionally. He switched high schools more than once, rebuilt parts of his game, pushed through normal growing phases, and lived with the pressure of being LeBron's son while trying to create his own identity in real time. Arizona was supposed to be a fresh start, a clean slate, a place where he could finally step out of his father's shadow and build something that belonged to him. But instead, he's caught in this holding pattern. Practicing, but not playing. Training, but not competing. Suiting up, but never hearing his name when the lights come on. That type of mental grind hits different, even if nobody talks about it out loud. And here's the twist. This quiet, low-key decision might end up being the move that changes his whole future. Redshirting Bryce could give Arizona an extra year to shape a young, growing prospect and give Bryce the chance to pull up next season as a potential starter, not just another freshman fighting for scraps in the rotation. A redshirt year gives Arizona stability, and it lets Bryce develop without being thrown into random pressure moments that don't help him long-term. Next season, he could walk back in stronger, smarter, and way more prepared, and that might be the moment everything finally shifts for him. It might end up creating exactly what both Bryce and LeBron have always wanted, a fully polished, mentally locked-in, NBA-ready player who grew at the pace that actually fits him instead of being rushed into the spotlight before he's ready. Sometimes the slow path ends up building the strongest future, and in Bryce's case, taking things step by step might be the smartest play he's ever made. Bryce James not playing this season isn't a scandal, a punishment, or some hidden drama waiting to explode. It's a strategic move built for the long run. Arizona has a squad right now that looks ready to chase something serious, and Bryce is still leveling up into the version of himself that people believe he can become. A red shirt protects all 4 years of his eligibility, gives him time to watch the game unfold from the inside, and sets up a moment where, when he finally steps onto the court, it's actually his moment. Not something rushed, forced, or done just to calm the crowd. People forget how important that is. Some players blow up early only to fizzle because they weren't ready for the pressure. Others take time, build quietly, grow steadily, and then hit the court like they were designed for the big stage. Bryce might be stepping into that second category, the one where patience pays off in ways people don't see until later. A quiet season today might unlock a wild breakout tomorrow, and when Bryce finally gets that real debut, whether it's in 2026 or even later, the basketball world is going to lock in again. But this time, the energy won't be impatience or confusion. It'll be genuine excitement because everyone will know he had time to sharpen his game, strengthen his body, and shape his confidence without the noise drowning him out. The future for Bryce James isn't fading, uncertain, or disappointing. It's simply loading, sitting in the shadows, charging up, waiting for the right time to show what he truly is. And when that moment hits, it's gonna feel like a brand new chapter opening right in front of us. If you're ready for more stories just like this, hit that like button, drop a comment, share the video, and smash that subscribe button. The next chapter is coming, and you definitely don't want to miss it. See you on the next one.